All right, so here is our April 12th warm up. This is a word problem. It's a word problem involving a quadratic. So the ages of 3 family children can be expressed as consecutive integers. So I want to start you off with, what do consecutive integers mean? Consecutive integers are numbers that come in a row. They're integers like 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6. So if I want to use variables to represent them, and my first number is represented by the variable x, then my second number is represented by the variable x plus 1, and my third number is represented by the variable term x plus 2, or variable expression x plus 2. So these are the 3 variables that represent the children's ages. Okay, so it says the square of the age of the youngest child. So I have to square the age of the youngest child. So the youngest child is x, and I have to square that. It says is, that means equals, is 4 more than, so I'm going to add 4 to something, 8 times the age of the oldest child. 8 times the age of the oldest child. Well, the oldest child is the variable expression x plus 2. So I need to find the ages of the 3 children. So let's take a look at this. Let's see. Well, x, the quantity squared, is x squared. I have to, on the other side, I have to distribute. So I have 8x plus 16. Don't forget about your plus 4. So I can combine like terms. X squared equals 8x, and 16 plus 4 is 20. And once I combine like terms, I see, I have a quadratic. And I know that the only way that I can solve it is if I set my equation equal to 0. That means I have to get rid of everything on one side. But remember, I don't want my leading coefficient to be negative. So I essentially have to subtract 8x from both sides and 20. I'm going to subtract 8x, and I'm also going to subtract 20. And when I do that, when I subtract that, I end up with the quadratic expression, or equation actually, x squared minus 8x minus 20 equals 0. And now I can solve this by factoring. I'm looking for 2 numbers that that multiply to negative 20, that add to negative 8. Well, I think that's going to be negative 10 and positive 2. So that means that my factors are x minus 10 and x plus 2. And remember, both of those equal 0. So we have to set those equal to 0. Well, if x minus 10 equals 0, then my actual root or solution is positive 10. And if x plus 2 equals 0, then my actual root or solution is negative 2. Now remember that these 2 numbers right here are supposed to represent the ages of children. So can the youngest child be negative 2 years old? Does that make sense? Is that possible? No, it is not possible to be negative 2 years old. So we know that that answer is no good. So we kind of dismiss it. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the youngest child is 10, because it says x equals 10. So how old is the next sibling? Well, 10 plus 1, so the next sibling is 11. And how old is the oldest child or the sibling, the x plus 2 sibling? Well, that child is 12. So the ages of the three children are 10, 11, and 12.